Truth you will hear all day. Being a nice guy, it doesn't guarantee you'll finish last. But being a bad guy does guarantee you'll finish first. Now, I mean it figuratively speaking. Kyler Murray, he removed all of the pictures of the Cardinals on social media, and what did that get him? Well, just the highest paid guarantees after 3 seasons. Aaron Rodgers in Hawaii threatens to retire, go to Jeopardy. What did that get him? Oh, just the highest paid average annual value. Sean McVay won a Super Bowl and said, you know what? I might retire. What in the world did that get him? Some more money. True. Highest paid winning head coach in the first 100 games, Aaron Donald. He said he might retire after winning a Super Bowl. What in the world did that get him? He's the highest paid non-quarterback. Deshaun Watson, disregard the legal issues. He wanted out of Houston before that. What did that get him? The highest paid guaranteed money. So now let's talk about Lamar Jackson. He's been a nice guy. Been a nice guy the entirety of his career, on and off the field. Again, figuratively speaking. And what has that gotten him? Less money this year than Ryan Tannehill. What's that gotten him? Less money this year than Derek Carr, a unanimous MVP, making less money than Tannehill and Derek Carr. It does not make money, thus it does not make sense. Being a nice guy, it doesn't guarantee you'll finish last. But being a bad guy does guarantee you'll finish first. And I think it's time Lamar Jackson stop playing nice. Let me head to the desk and see where you all stand on this beautiful holiday season. I don't condone being bad guys, Shady, except when it's time to get paid. This. No comment?
You changed, bro. You changed.
How so? How'd that change?
Say hello to the bad guy.
Joy, should Lamar Jackson consider shutting it down, consider being selfish? Should he consider thinking of himself first and putting this season to rest?
No. This season is, I can't even say it's not lost. The Ravens are in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. They have a winnable game this weekend, even without Lamar. And then they have the Steelers and the Bengals to finish the season. Do what you need to do, and you're in the playoffs. We get paid to what? Whether we get paid as much as somebody else or not, we get paid to what? Play football.
That's right.
Lamar Jackson loves football. Why would he shut it down? And what is that going to do? Here's the reality. While I agree with everything that you're saying, and I have no problem being the bad guy, I thrive as the villain. It's my best glow. You can be the nice guy and still get paid because Dak Prescott did it, and Dak was injured.
Correct.
Lamar Jackson's banged up. Dak was injured. He was out, and he still got paid. Now, what kind of paid are we talking about? That changes the conversation. Lamar Jackson will get paid regardless of how this season ends. He's going to get paid. What's not going to happen is the $250 million guaranteed. I believe. I hope it does. I hope everybody gets all their money guaranteed and makes as much money as they possibly can. I certainly plan on doing that, okay? So it doesn't matter to me. But I can't ignore the business side of the sport and the salary cap and the fact that I'm fully aware that billionaires don't like giving up power. And when that Deshaun Watson contract happens, the one owner that came out publicly and said, I don't like this deal, was Steve Bisciotti, the owner of the Ravens. And we know the other owners were very unhappy with the Haslams, the owner of the Browns, the owners of the Browns, for giving Deshaun Watson that contract. Aside from everything that happened with Deshaun Watson, they don't want that to be the standard. And guess what? It's not, because 2 quarterbacks got paid after Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson and Kyler Murray, and they got $161 and $160 million guaranteed. Not anywhere near that 230. Now, Kyler, you could argue, obviously, why he didn't get that, but Russell Wilson has won a Super Bowl. And erase all the memories that we have of this year, you would think he would get something close to that. It's a huge deal that he went to Denver. So this isn't going to be the standard moving forward. I don't think it's hurting his money at all, and I think he should play.
Shady, should Lamar consider shutting it down, big dog?
Nah, he should play, right? If he's healthy enough to go out there and play for his team and be that captain that they need and that he is, I would go out there and play, and I think he should too. The biggest thing is he said in the beginning of the year, listen, if you don't get this contract done, cool, I'm going to play, and I'm going to go out, and I'm going to gamble on myself. And that's what he did. He bet on himself, and they can still they're still in the playoffs. They still can do something in the playoffs. So I think Lamar should go out there and play if he can.
Let's say it like this. You said if he's healthy enough. It's easy for somebody who hasn't played football at the highest level to say that. I want you to break down what's that actually mean, because my thought is this, 2-5. Clearly, Lamar is going to be able to play physically, right? Most players can. You saw Thomas Davis. He's played with 15 staples in his arm with a broken arm. Terrell Owens came back to a Super Bowl with a broken leg. Like, people can play in excruciating pain. But should Lamar play, even if he can, given there might be more long-term damage? You know how knee injuries are for a guy that runs.
Right, yeah. My thing is this. if you can go out there and still do the same things you could do at 100%, then maybe you can't do it at 100%, but you still could be effective enough on the field, right? Still could produce. It doesn't cause you a lot of harm. I think you should still play. Because my thing is, like, at this point of the year, nobody's 100% healthy. Everybody's banged up. Knees, shoulders, whatever it is. But you got to be able to still, play Lamar Jackson's type of game. Because if not, you can't protect yourself, right? Them type of hits that you can avoid or be elusive to make God miss. Now you can't do that enough, then you're making yourself vulnerable for getting hurt even more.
And I think we got, let's be fair to Lamar Jackson. Aaron Rodgers is dealing with a thumb, but he's played through it this entire year. That is a situation where you're like, do you want to shut it down? Like, we clearly see that you can play, but should you? As far as I'm aware, Lamar Jackson's not practicing. He has barely done anything at all since this happened almost a month ago against Denver, 2, 3, 4 games ago.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced that he is fully healthy. So I think you got to give him the respect of saying, could you even play? And it's his knee. He is a quick twitch athlete.
Correct.
He is Action Jackson. His whole thing is being incredibly elusive, incredibly hard to tackle. If he's not at 100%, he shouldn't be out there. So I think you got to start there. As far as I'm aware, this is not a situation that he could play through. Or else, knowing what I know about Lamar Jackson, I think he would be doing that already.
But Dave, that's my point. See, my thought is this. If I'm Lamar Jackson, and knees are not something to play with. PCLs can turn into microfractures very easily. Doctor can examine and say, you know what? He doesn't have a ton of cartilage left in his knee. So for that reason, he's probably not going to be able to run like this for another maybe just 2 more years. If I'm Lamar, it's time to finally be selfish. That's where I'm at. Being all nice and playing, even though they pay me to play, that's fun and all, but that doesn't guarantee I'm going to get paid, unlike not being nice, not being the good team guy that has guaranteed money in the past.
The other problem with your analogy, I think, is, again, you're talking about guys that have made business decisions out of the season.
That's
Kyler Murray did this in the offseason. Yeah. Sean McVay and Aaron Donald did this right after the Super Bowl. This is a situation where, it's all out there in front of you if you're the Ravens. You could even still win the division. They've got 2 division games left, one of them against the Bengals. They already beat the Bengals once this year. It's all in front of the Ravens. And so if he is healthy enough to play and doesn't, you don't think that's going to leak? You don't think that's going to be a story? When you talk about the money that's involved, these are the types of things that become stories Lamar Jackson, he was cleared to play 2 weeks before the season and didn't want to.
Joy, that we have short-term memories? Reason being, I recall, I believe Jalen Ramsey was in season with the Jags, if I'm not mistaken. And Ramsey missed practice for one reason. Then he had a lower back injury. He had a bunch of injuries that you could not identify. So it's not always an off-season thing. Remember, Ramsey became the highest-paid cornerback in the history of the National Football League. And we're not talking about what happened in Jacksonville, except for when I arbitrarily bring it up once every 3 months.
Right, but Jalen Ramsey does not play the quarterback position, and, the Ravens have an opportunity to go into the postseason and possibly win playoff games. So Jags fans might remember that, and Ravens fans will most certainly remember that Lamar Jackson, who at this point is beloved, shut it down to protect his knee and his long-term money when they had an opportunity to go to the postseason. That's a different situation.
Do you care? Let me go to the elite athlete here.
Hold on, but nobody even know, though. So
I agree.
So that's the thing, he still be loved because...
He could hide behind the knee.
Yeah, my knee. I can't...
But let me take us home. Would you care? Because for so long, athletes make decisions for fans. And they make decisions for fans that do not cut their checks. And particularly don't cut their checks when the athlete is now retired and has to do things on their own. If you were the elite athlete, would you care to be beloved? Would you care to be all these things? Or would you be like, you know what? I got to get mine. Zeke, he was like, hey, I'm in Cabo. He got his $95 million 2 years before Dak got tagged, then got his. Yeah. Would you care?
I would care. I care what the fans say. Because it's but this particular situation, he's going to get paid anyway, right? So if he plays, let's say he plays and doesn't do well, he's still going to get his money. So you're going to please yourself with both sides. The fans going to love me, and I get my money. End of the day.
I feel you. Hopefully Lamar does get his money. We'll see how it plays out. As for the New York Jets, it's not playing out well for the quarterback position. Zach Wilson, can you believe the number 2 overall pick was benched on national television yesterday? Whole world watching. But who in the world actually deserves to bring an interception? He was booed by his own home crowd. And then worse, get this, y'all, he was benched In the third quarter, Zach Wilson, the number 2 overall pick just last year. Well, at least post-game this time, he didn't blame the coach. He didn't blame the defense. He took some ownership.
Some growth.
Some growth. People are going too hard on Zach Wilson. I've heard things saying Zach Wilson might be one of the biggest busts in NFL history. Zach Wilson, a mistake of a pick. Zach Wilson did not draft himself. Zach Wilson did not choose where he was drafted. Zach Wilson did not say, hey, you know what? I want to be the quarterback for the New York Jets. The Jets said, hey, we want you to be our quarterback. So you cannot be surprised when the bright lights of Broadway were too much for the small town kid from BYU. Come on, y'all. Can we use some common sense reasoning and really think about this for a second? Shady, we live in Hollywood, big dog. If you were to settle down with said small town country girl and bring on a Hollywood red carpet, you cannot be surprised if she pulls out the Michael Kors instead of the Chanel bag.
Oh, yeah. I can't have that.
Shade for Michael Kors.
Ain't no shade.
No.
Social media.
No. You can't be running around no Michael Kors.
Not on a red carpet.
Yeah, not with me.
So you gotta understand, who was it that you chose?
Right.
Because in said analogy, you made that decision. Jets, Saleh, Douglas, you all made that decision. So when Zach Wilson is at the podium and he doesn't know what to say after a loss, how can you be too appalled? He isn't Trevor Lawrence, who's talked to national media after winning national championship games. He's not Justin Fields, who's talked to national media after losing college football playoff games. He's not Mac Jones, who's talked to national media after going to the college football playoffs. He's Zach Wilson from BYU. Should he be better? Yes. Everybody all day has told you he should be better. But I also think he's getting way too much blame. Dave Hellman, where do you stand?
Acho, do me a favor. Tell me where the University of Wyoming's located.
Laramie.
There we go. Okay. Is that down the street on Sunset Boulevard? That's where Josh Allen went to school. That's the point I'm getting. That's what I'm getting at here. I'm just saying.
But I know they're both in New York, but Buffalo is a little bit different.
Okay,
like
see,
and they're a little more
media
patient.
there.
Yeah, and
I
the
think
fan base is going to be patient.
I get you. Okay, where'd Daniel Jones go to school?
Duke.
Would the Jets have a better record if Daniel Jones was playing quarterback for them right now?
This year?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean,
don't think it's even a question.
But I feel like before Dayball got there, he wasn't.
Okay,
You know what I'm saying?
The point being,
What's the point? Get to it.
in the year 2022, I think there's merit to what y'all are saying. I think it's overblown, to be honest with you. Yes.
Dave.
BYU is on national TV all the time. Every college football program is at this point. You can keep up with damn near any program. I watched Trey Lance on national TV. He plays at North Dakota State.
But Dave, there's a
They
difference.
televised it on ESPN just to
let's do
give
this,
him
sir.
a chance to play.
You are a beat writer by trade. That is who Dave Hellman was birthed into beat writing.
One of the best of all time.
Every team has
that
beat
was
writers. Every team does.
Yeah.
But the Cowboys beat writers are vastly different than the Chargers. Right? Like there's a
different
lot
market, yeah.
Bingo, and that's my point. Every team might be on national television. Jackson State's on national television.
Right.
But there's a reason beyond just the money that Deion went to Colorado. That is my point. It's like, you knew Zach Wilson wasn't going to just hit the ground running in New York. Did you not?
Here's the thing. In this, and this is what I'm getting at. And like I said, I think there's validity to what y'all are saying. But in the year, right? What? It's 2022. It was 2021 when Zach Wilson came out. I don't know why I keep saying what year it is. But when you declare first of all, if you are a starter for a major program, which BYU is, by the way, they've won a national title. Yes, they are.
They major?
They're a big program. They may not be on the level of Alabama. People
They're
know
top 25 in.
People know who BYU is. They